Okay, let me share the screen. So this is what is called as ancestral sin. So what was the sin of my ancestors that was passed on to us? The sin of worshipping the idols. So my father or anybody who becomes a Christian is now under the curse of what is called as generational sins. Generational sins are sins that the person inherits from his forefathers. And in case of an Indian, the only sin, the biggest sin was that your forefathers were idol worshippers. So that means you had to somehow disconnect from that heritage, and you have to disown that heritage, and you have to kind of act like the life just started off with you and you had no roots whatsoever. Because if you were to talk anything about, have any kind of connection with your ancestors or your forefathers or anything like that, it is as good as you still have connection with that devil or Satan and things like that. So this alienation from family, this alienation from culture, this alienation from where we came from was all by the design of the church. Or it was not by the design of the church, but it was actually driven by the Bible verses. And it's not just that. If you there are other kinds of sins, like sins that you're born with, sins that you do, like everything. So this image that you are born a sinner and you had to redeem yourself, and in order for you to redeem yourself, you have to give up your family, you have to give up your connection with your past, with your forefathers, any heritage that you have. This was all driven by what is written in the Bible. And there are many verses that justify that. I'm not going to go into those details. But the reason I share all of these things is we were a family that grew up together. It's not that, I mean, some of you might come to a conclusion that I came from, I had a very, very depressed life, but no, we were a very close-knit family. I took care of my brothers like they were my own sons. My brothers were with me for the most part through all of this journey. But once I started speaking against Christianity itself, they could not handle that. They quickly started cutting off relationships. They had to walk away from anything that had like they were cautious. They started being cautious. I cannot really say that they walked away from us. But this kind of breaking up of family into fragments, even when there are gentle relationships, you have like there are relationships between grandfather and grandchildren, there are relationships between nieces, nephews, uncles, and aunts. But all of these things did not matter, because when you assume that Christian identity, that to protect your identity as a Christian, you could virtually walk away from any other relationship you had. And I kept thinking about it, and I said, if India as a country has people that wanted to convert people into Christianity, remember, they didn't have any relationship with the people that they wanted to convert. Their agenda was to have a Christian community. So what is happening in the family, what kind of conflict is happening, they're not cognizant of that. They don't even care. It is an agenda. The agenda is for them to make this world pretty much a Christian world. Okay, but if you look back on it and think about it, like, what is the purpose of making it a Christian world? Then the economics come in place. My father may have worked for 45 years in a government job, and every month 10% of his income went to church.